Hello, gosh, it feels like it has been a really long time since I've been on here and really felt like I wanted to come on and share because there's been a lot going on in my world behind the scenes off of social media. I first just want to talk about like what this year is about. Like obviously we feel the tension in the air. We feel that there's a lot of chaos going on and a lot of people have a lot of opinions. And that's kind of the sign of the times we're in. So let's just talk about that briefly, and then I'm going to get into a little bit more of what's going on in my world, if you are interested in joining me. So the year we're actually still in the Chinese year of the dragon, and we'll be moving into the year of the serpent. So I'm going to talk just very briefly about what that means energetically and just kind of what the year may hold. So, the year of the dragon was really about coming into alignment with your truth. When you think dragons, you think fire, you think, a dragon can clear out a lot of stuff with that fire energy. And it was really about like we talked about my friend Patricia said this and I just love it so much. For the year of the dragon, it was really about whatever doesn't fit through the eye of the needle. And when you think about the eye of the needle, it's very small, right? Whatever doesn't fit through the eye of the needle must fall away. That was 2024. We're still in that energy because in the Chinese New Year, that doesn't change over until February, like February 6th, around there somewhere. So we're still in that energy. Like, what isn't for you, it has to fall away. So it's been this year, probably pretty challenging in some ways for people. Hello. It's been this year of what isn't in alignment for you. It's got to fall away. What isn't true for you, it has to fall away. And so think back over the last year and think about what have you come up against? What has life thrown at you? Where have you seen patterns and things in your life shift? I know for me, there's been so many things. Letting go of parts of my business. It's like along the lines of the dragon, it was like I had to burn the business down and I'm rebuilding it. Not fully, I didn't fully burn it to the ground, but in a way, that's kind of what happened. Because there were so many aspects that I was doing from my old way or the way I've always done. So think about that. Like, what are things you've always done? Give me a thumbs up or give me a yes, that's me. If you feel like you're in that right now, where like life is like, feels like it's got you up against the wall, and that's kind of the energy of this time. That's where we're at. It's really about whatever is not aligned for you, it has to fall away. And then moving into 2025, again in the Chinese New Year, that starts in February, we move into the year of the serpent. And just from a physical standpoint, serpents, they have to release their skin. Think about that for a second. So a serpent, a snake, it goes through a process where it outgrows the skin it's in. And it's a very uncomfortable process as that skin starts to shed. It has to wiggle its new body out of that old skin. So the way I see this as an intuitive channel is that 2024 was us letting go of those old skins. Some of us better than others, right? Because letting go of things that have always been in your life, letting go of the way you've always done things, like that can, be very, very uncomfortable. So some of us were able to release those things a little more easily than others. But 2025, what we're stepping into with the year of the serpent, is that shedding of the old ways. And I told somebody this recently. It's like, I feel like I'm a broken record because I feel like every year it's like, you have to release the things that aren't serving you. But it's kind of like 2025 is like, you have to. like, like before it was kind of like, yeah, you got to release the things that aren't serving you, so you can move forward. And now it's like, holy shit, if you don't, look out. Like it's going to be crazy. So with that comes a lot of fear, right? It comes a lot of, what does that mean for me? Like, what's going to have to change? And it's like, that was kind of, so getting into my world a little bit right now and what has happened to me, and then I'm going to share what's coming up. I really felt this like at the beginning of the year, like I just needed to like take a pause, take a sacred pause, and really I took time off work, which is very unusual for me. Normally, my body would have to take me out to do that, meaning I'd have to get chronic fatigue or I'd have to have some sort of health thing going on for myself to listen, to give myself rest. And this time I just was like, I really feel like I need a pause. And it's like I need to realign. Like so much has shifted in 2024. I think a lot of us can relate to that. So much has shifted. We've released things, ways of thinking, things like that have had to change. And so it's like I had to take this break and see how I was going to rebuild on a new foundation. So give me a thumbs up if that resonates with you. I'm just curious if anybody else has felt the same way. And so that's kind of what I did. And it's just like there was a million things to do, and it's put me behind in several things, but it rewired patterns within me. So there's this needing to slow down right now. The external world is speeding up. I like to think it's like people are addicted to being busy. We are. We're addicted to being busy, aren't we? And if you don't forcefully, put some things in place for yourself, like it's so easy to get caught up in the external busyness, in what's going on in the world and all the facades and all the, just things that are happening out there. It's so easy to get caught up in all that in social media. And it's like, there's a real slowing down and getting internal that really needs to take place right now because the busyness factor just keeps increasing and it's like frenetic craziness. But yeah, so slowing it down, that's what I felt really called to do, is just slow things down, get more intentional, let some things fall away, take myself off of social media for a little bit, and then I came back refreshed. So I want to talk, I'm going to kind of now go into a little diagram here because I think this is important, and I'm going to try to keep this video as short as I can. There's a lot to say though. But so this year, as I've said, this year is going to be about, it's not like, oh, if it needs to fall away, just like ride the waves. It's like, no, like shit or get off the pot. Like it is like no effing around this year. And transformation, yes, I really like the vibe of 2025. I feel like I will ascend. Yes, I want to get over my fear of being seen. Oh, girl, yes, feel that completely. Yes, fear of being seen. Thank you for saying that. Yes, that is huge. That's a huge piece, literally, of what I wanted to talk about today. But yeah, just these fears that we've had for so long that are keeping us stuck in what I call, so I have the SBS and the ABS, okay? The SBS, sometimes I like to swear, but let's say it in a non-swearing way first. It's your stuck belief system. Or you could say your shitty belief system. You choose. That's your SBS. And then you've got your ABS, and that's your aligned belief system. So remember, what isn't going to fit through the eye of the needle must fall away. That was 2024. We're still in it. Now we're moving into like effing no BS, no messing around. Like it's kind of like what I feel this energy holds. And yes, totally will ascend. If you can get to the place where you can just like, I'm ready to release this, I'm ready to let this go. I'll do whatever it takes. If you can get to that place, you're going to pretty much sail through this year. There's going to be some bumps, there's going to be some jolts, there's going to be some things. But if you're like clinging, you know, like, no, this is the way it's always been. No, I can't let go of this friendship in my life, or I can't let go of this place, or whatever it is for you, then it's going to be a really bumpy ride. And so I want to give you a diagram. We're going to talk about this. Remembering your shitty belief system or your stuck belief system, whichever word you like, moving into your aligned belief system. That's the Chinese year of the serpent that we're moving into. So hopefully everybody can see this. So here in the center, in this center circle, that's you. That's like your soul. That's your spirit self. That's like your pure consciousness. Okay? And I'm not going to tell you anything right now that you probably don't already know. But when this diagram was showed to me, it just like clicked things in a different place for me because I'm a visual person. Give me a thumbs up if you're a visual person like me. I need that, like this, like clicked it into place in a whole new way. I shared something like this on TikTok and somebody was like, so thoughts create our reality. And I'm like, yeah, that's basically what I'm saying, but you're going to see it in a different way than you have before. And to me, that's like money. Okay, this is you. This is your pure consciousness. Everybody has this deep consciousness within us. It's connected to, it's unlimited. It's infinity. It's like what creates stars and universes. Like you have that within you. That's why people teach meditation, is to help you get to that place. We all have that within us. It's that divine spark deep within. That's like when people say, I just knew deep within that I had to XYZ. We all have that within us. Okay, so that's you. That's your pure consciousness deep in the center. Then this outer ring, I like to think of, I'm looking out from my pure consciousness here. I'm looking out, and on this outer ring is the 3D realm. This is your outer reality. This is what you're creating. You are pure consciousness. You are a creator. You are creating your reality. The problem, your thoughts are creating your reality, to my friend that kind of mocked me on TikTok, which is totally fine. I get it. You are creating your reality. You're that powerful. So the problem with this middle ring, this is like your subconscious, your soul, your subconscious. The problem with this is that we've got things in here like ancestral entanglements, like limiting beliefs, traumas that we've experienced, the stress responses we initiate from those traumas, stories you have on repeat, like I'll always be like this, or I'm never good enough to do this, or you know, what are people going to think of me if I do XYZ? So you've got all of that, and your filters and your false identities. So your pure consciousness, it's like it's creating, but because there's kind of this muddiness from the, that's why people, it's like, we can, you know, some people can just manifest whatever they want, and you're like, what the hell? Why doesn't that work for me? Or, you know, maybe you, like, I can manifest certain things in certain areas that fast, and then in other areas, it takes a much longer time. My current husband is one of those manifestations. Took a really long time because I had a lot of limiting beliefs from my own childhood trauma, lots of trauma. total CPTSD, lots of healing, lots of subconscious reprogramming that I had to do. So you're not doing anything wrong if things aren't manifesting in this 3D reality that you want. It's just that you're looking out and you're not aware. This is the subconscious. Doesn't mean you're aware of it. My friend here on Instagram, she's aware that she's got this fear of being seen. Awareness is the first step to change it. But then what, right? We can, for me, some of the things I was aware of, they weren't shifting. It wasn't until I found this really powerful technique that I'll tell you about that really helped to start shift. But the other thing that's in the middle too that I forgot to write is your trapped emotions. And the emotions get trapped because of trauma. A trauma is just something that you experienced in a highly emotional state, and there wasn't like a completion. So trauma can be anything. That's why like you'll see one sibling felt like something was more traumatic than another sibling, and it changes. But so when we start to clear these things up in this middle ring, that's when the outer ring starts to change. That's when the 3D starts to change. So again, I'm not telling you something you probably don't already know, but it's like, okay, but how? How do I change this? How do I change the beliefs I have about myself? Great, Erin, thanks. I know that I have a fear of being seen. What do I do about that? Or I know that I feel unworthy. Consciously, I know I'm worthy, but I know subconsciously it's got to be in there because I keep creating the same situation, right? So how do we change that? Well, it's not just a snap of the fingers, unfortunately. Sometimes it can be. Sometimes it can be a shift in, just a shift in how you're thinking. But in my experience, and I've worked with clients for over 14 years, it's a process. And it's a process of addressing these pieces with a process, right? By the way, I have a process. It's a 5-step process that I use to work through these different things. Okay, so we have family constellation work, and that helps with the ancestral entanglements. Those entanglements are that is completely unconscious to you, right? Like you might have no idea, which by the way, fear of being seen is often an ancestral entanglement. So in family constellation work, we go through and we release these entanglements that are keeping us stuck with chronic health issues, having a fear of being seen, having anxiety, depression, so on and so forth. I have an amazing new process to release trapped emotions. We can find out exactly what experience, we're just going to call it an experience because a lot of people don't resonate with trauma. We all have trauma, by the way, but that's a scary word for some people. We can just call it an unprocessed experience. We all have that somewhere. And through this process of releasing trapped emotions, we can go in and find out exactly what unprocessed experience that's connected to, where in the body, what organ it's held onto, and what feelings are connected, and we release it. It's extremely powerful. I've never done anything like that. It's my new, probably and only obsession forever. We release the stories. So we all have these stories that we have on repeat. Like, I'll never be able to do this, or I'm too old for that, or I'll never be able to lose weight, or my family's always like this. We have stories. Their stories are connected to limiting beliefs. When you were in let's call it trauma, when you were in a traumatic experience and or an unprocessed experience, if you like that word better. Hi, I'm Erin. I've been through a lot of them, especially if they happened in childhood. So, I had not the greatest growing up experience. It was just my mom and I, and she's an alcoholic and narcissist. So there was not emotional connection. There was not emotional regulation. There was not love. So I created a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear within my body because we need that as a child. So if we grew up, and this is where I lose people sometimes, because they'll think, well, I didn't have childhood trauma. My parents were there and nobody was a drinker and nobody, but then it was like, well, dad worked and he was gone all the time, and mom, there was a child with special needs in the home. This is what I'm thinking of, an exact client right now. And mom had to always take care of the child with special needs. And so my client created a lot of stories, and we create limiting beliefs. Like we set commands, like I'm not good enough to be loved because if I was, my mom would pay attention to me right now. I created I'm not good enough because if I was good enough, my mom wouldn't yell at me right now. Okay? We don't need to go too much into trauma. I laugh. I'm not laughing at this. My husband, he's really not into this stuff. And we'll get to talking about things and he's just like last night, he's like, why do therapists just always want to like bring you back to the darkest times in your past? And it's like, so you can heal, but he's not ready to do a lot of that yet. Anyway, I digress. So I hope this is helping somebody with something out there. Anyway, so when you have had an unprocessed experience or a trauma, let's just say in childhood, but it can also happen as an adult, you create some commands, as I said, like I'm not good enough, I'll never be loved, I'll always be abandoned, crap like that, things that you don't, these core negative beliefs. And then we grow up and relationships are really hard because, again, if that's my core negative belief, I'm creating through this lens that I'm not even fully aware of. There's junk in there. There's junk in my subconscious, in my stuck belief self that I'm creating from. So part of the process is going in and identifying those limiting beliefs, but through my trapped emotion process, and it's not emotion code, it's not body code, it's a deeper level than that. We go in and we release the trapped emotions, we release the commands we gave the subconscious. And then the last step of my process is we finish with the truth of who you are. That's your aligned belief system or aligned best self or whatever we want to say there. We have the SBS and the ABS. SBS is your stuck belief system or your shitty belief system. We have all got one because of, and it's unconscious, most of it. So even my friend that knows that she has a fear of being seen, she may not know the exact pinpoint of where that came from. That's what the tool I have helps you to like cut it and change it up. And then we work through the false identity. So again, like that's just a process. So again, this is a process, but it can be changed. And then you just get to be the pure consciousness that you are without all the other stuff. And that's when, I guess we'd fill that in with new positive beliefs, of things we want. We would change our self-concept to be aligned with who we are and our truth. Big T, capital T, truth. We'd release entanglements, so those aren't there, those are gone. And belief in self, like an unwavering, that's my word for the year, an unwavering belief in self. This is your aligned belief system. So, and we show evidence. So that would be creating a new story. We show the brain evidence of where those things are true for us in our life, so that the subconscious can get on board and go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, this is true, this is happening, right? So this is what we create. But notice there's not, the limiting stuff isn't there anymore. But I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I don't sugarcoat things. This is a process. This is a process, right? It takes time, it takes attention, but it doesn't have to take forever. So this is what we do in my program. So we've got the stuck belief system, the shitty belief system, and we've got the aligned belief system. And that's how you start creating in your 3D a whole new reality for yourself. Again, I'm not telling you something you probably don't already know. But for me, give me a thumbs up if the visual helped you. Because like when I saw this, I was like, oh, boom, 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 boom. I love that. It just clicked it into place just in cool new ways for my brain to take in. So what I'm talking about here is what I feel like is coming for this new year that we're in, this year of the serpent, and awesome. And I really feel called to, like, the period of time I took at the beginning of the year to just slow down and pause, even when that didn't really make sense because it was gonna cause a bit of disruption in what I had planned coming up. I really feel like that's what we're being called. We're being called to slow down, to get really clear, to step into an unwavering sense of self, certainty, and belief. And so if you're still hanging out with me, awesome. Thank you for being here. I want to just share now what I have coming. So I've already taught the aligned program. It was a 6-week program and people loved it. It's really helping, it's for women. It's really helping you step into, obviously, your aligned self, but with feminine energetics and principles. The way of the rose, like we're going to be infiltrating with different techniques to help awaken you to your inner truth. But we're also going to be working on all of these things. I think that's the wrong, too many diagrams now, because I love this. This is my new favorite thing. We're going to be working on releasing these things through my 5-step process. So if you don't know me, I'm trained in theta healing. That's where we can go in and energetically clear subconscious beliefs, but also understanding and healing your nervous system. So I really bridge psychology and spirituality together. That's my specialty. And through that, we are releasing those trapped emotions with that one technique I shared with you. And then working on the identities that you hold, working on the beliefs. So that's what I mean. It's like, it's going to be some work, but the program is now going to be 6 months long. We meet twice a month, and there's unlimited access to me and the group in a group chat. So you can leave voice messages, whatever, in a group chat. We meet twice a month, and we're going to go through all of these steps so that at the end of that 6 months, life is your outer reality, you're going to be in that aligned belief system, and that outer reality is going to be much different. Manifestations are going to come. You know, whatever your desires are going to start to be made more real for you much more quickly, because it's not going to be with the false identities and the limiting beliefs and the traumas that we've been creating from. So that's what I've got going on. You save $100 if you join before next, it's the 30th, whatever day that is. And there's several different payment plans. I'll leave the link below, or you can message me for it. I don't think I can leave it on Instagram below the video, but on Facebook I can. So that's happening. The other piece that's happening is I'm doing starting my Lightworker Academy back up. I took a 2-year break from that, and that's going to be learning how to do somatic work, being a somatic coach. So it's very different this year. I'm just going to briefly touch on that. I'll be talking more about that in upcoming weeks. But just in case one of the two resonates for you more. So there's a way to do the program just based on like individual programs, or you can do the full 10 months and get the most in that case. See if anybody's messaging me. Okay. So with that, there's a somatic coaching. There's learning about the meridians, things that I'm going to be giving you in the aligned program that you're going to be going through. You can also learn how to do those for others. So I'm just going to leave it at that. If that's of interest to you, reach out to me. That's ready to go. I want to get the aligned program out here first because it's very near to my heart. It's the feminine way, and I know I was called to teach that. Which is really about slowing down. It's really about accessing your inner strength and energy, your womb center, your power center, and creating through ease and feminine flow and getting out of this overwhelm and stress and anxiety and chronic health issues. Hi, I had all of those. That's all gone. Like, I don't have that. And so I want people to know this because on the aligned site, I do say, like, chronic health issues just start falling away. Like, I've had clients tell me, like, oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. Because I'll be like, well, do you want to share anything about your anxiety? Oh, yeah, no, that's completely changed. Or one woman, she had GERD, which is prolonged acid reflux, for 8 years. And in 1 month of working with me, it was gone. It was waking her up in the middle of the night for years. And it's because we are misaligned. Like, that's in the simplest form. So it's not magic, although I do love magic. It's when we get in alignment with who we really are, when we get in alignment with our truth, which means we're going to have to make some hard decisions, which means we're going to have to do some hard things. Yes. Again, not going to sugarcoat that it's going to be easy. We're going to have to access some things that maybe we locked in a box and said, I'll never open that again. We may have to open those things. We may have to take some trash out of our subconscious. Taking this trash out. Oop, wrong one. We have to take some of this trash out because it's blocking. You're manifesting from that place. So we've got to pull out the trash. And when you do, health issues go away. I had hypothyroidism. I will tell you right here, right now, this is 100% intuitively channeled. This is my opinion. This is not from and I am not a doctor. Thyroid issues are 100% about not communicating, about not being in your truth, about not communicating in some area of your life. And a lot of people that I've worked with, myself included, it's connected, I'm sorry to say this, to sexual trauma that has happened. And that's not a fun or easy topic. When you start clearing this stuff up, because I know people are going to read the website and go, oh yeah, my chronic health issues are just going to fall away. I'm not even going to know they're there. It's not magic. You're creating your reality. It's just most of us are unaware of what's in this middle circle. Oh, I love that. Yes, you start to feel unstoppable. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. You're connected to your truth. You're connected to your power. And yeah, Tess, I think your name is Tessa. If you're watching this and you're like, I'm there, but I've just got some issues to clean up, I do work with people one on one. So if you ever want to work on that one specific issue of fear of being seen, we can do that too. This work that I'm talking about it for my Aligned program because that's what's coming up, but it's the same process that I take one on one clients through. So that's totally there and available as well. But that's what this year is all about. It's all about stepping into your true self, into your power, and being in alignment with who you truly are. And remember, it's year of the serpent. So it's shedding that, the snake has to shed its skin. I really think 2024 was us preparing. And for some of us, that skin is going to shed through 2025 and it might be uncomfortable. And for some of us, it sounds like, Tessa, you're there. Like maybe that skin is like, it's there. Like you have been working it off all year. And now it's just about fully stepping into that aligned self. So I'm really, really excited for what the year holds. I don't see it as a negative. I see it completely as a positive. I know that for anybody watching this, that you have that strength and that power within you to move forward. And sometimes we just need a little extra guidance and support along the way. And sometimes we're ready to just run. Like, we've got this. We're running, right? So if you need a little extra guidance, a little extra support, I've got you. Reach out to me. The Align program starts the beginning of February, right around when we move into the year of the serpent. That's when it's going to start. The Lightworker Academy, again, that is for people that want to become coaches and healers. Message me if that's you. And lastly, I do this one-on-one with people. So this is the year. And thank you all for being here. Leave any comments or questions below. Really appreciate those of you that stuck around. And I hope to see you soon.